And we are live. Here we are. Another Hump Day rant because Sports and Fitness Rants has the day off. And he said, let's bring it. And he's going to bring it.
Of course. Once again, shout to my man Nazar, the video footage, my man AOH. It's great to do another Wednesday edition. Like I said, man, I knew I was going to be off. And I was like, you know what? I got to tell my man AOH, we got to do another Wednesday live. Bring it to the people. If anyone's around, come on in. Thank you very much again. I see you out there. Black Barbecue Chicken. Shout out to Black Barbecue Chicken who became a member. Shout out to Master Don Knotts who became a member. Shout out to Renee 43 who's always there. One of the first, bright and early, always coming through. So once again, you guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
It's Renee's birthday. Happy birthday.
Yo, shout out to Renee. You know what's funny? That's why it happened like this today. Of course, it's Renee's birthday. Shout out to Renee on your birthday. Of course, it worked out. We'd be doing a live today. Once again, shout out to you.
Oh, and Speam Engine. Hello, Speam Engine. Robin was just telling me that he enjoyed the live show the other day, and I said, I can't really remember it.
Shout out to Speed, man. Shout out to Cameron Peterson. Shout out to McZuggins. Once again, shout out to Hit'em, Chase 1738, Shannon Lewis, Lomo 12, Thanos Snap Feminism. Thank you for coming through.
Hello,
I even
Thanos.
see my man out there, Sports and Fitness Rants hater coming through. Thank you very much.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Oh, man, for real. Shout out to all you guys, man. Shout out to my man Speed again.
These people have some nerve telling me I need to get a life.
You know what's funny? When LeBron James fans tell me, what am I going to do for content without LeBron James? No, what are you guys going to do without me?
Oh, I think Steam Engine's trying to be funny. I'm not sure if I get it or not.
Shout out to the diverse panel that is speaking. Yes, sir. Once again. Yo, shout out to JM, y'all. Thank you for coming through. You guys, like I said, man, are true supporters of the live streams. I mean, that's why I would even think to AOH to reach out to him and be like, yo, why don't we do a live on Wednesday? Because, you guys, always come through and support us. So it makes us want to do these things, man. Shout out to Hoop Oracle also. Pedro Medina, what's up? Gundam U.
You guys saw LeBron's feet excuse already? Oh, Christ. Does he have another excuse to head into the season?
Rap guy reloaded. Yo, I saw Two Raw do a video about his feet, something about his feet, but I did not listen to the video yet. Please enlighten us. Shout out to King Speech Roll.
I don't have a fucking clue. I can't keep up with this. I mean,
I know his feet are jacked up.
I think it's the strategy. Just like spew out so much stuff that you forget about what the previous issue was. Just keep rolling forward with distractions.
Well, I gotta admit, I think anyone that plays sports regularly, I think we can all attest to having some level of foot trauma, ankles or knees or elbows or wrists, fingers, whatever the case may be. There's maybe some body parts that you have that are a little, traumatized from the years of playing sports. That's why I always tell people, I'm giving you the perspective from someone who played this stuff and continues to play to this day. I'm still out there on the court, putting my body on the line. And I tell you right now, my wife sometimes makes fun of my feet because my feet are nowhere like LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? I'll show my feet. But once again, man, there's a certain level of trauma that your toenails are going to get exposed to, your toes, all this stuff.
Yeah, well, Chase says, I thought he went to the LeBron James of feet. I mean, that should have solved everything, shouldn't it? He is the LeBron James of feet. One of the dumbest. Like that comment alone should have ended his career. What a freaking nut job.
Shout out to Dennis Hayes. Shout out to MG. Thank you guys for coming through. Shout out to Rookie 305. There was a show called My Feet Are Killing Me. And, it was a really weird show, man. And I'm talking about, you want to see some jacked up feet? Go Google that show. It's called My Feet Are Killing Me, man. My goodness. It's about people going and seeing like foot doctors for like these extreme scenarios and cases of problems that people have with their feet, man. It'll make you appreciate, anything you might perceive that's wrong with your feet. These people will put you in some perspective.
So Speam shouted out King Speech is live. Hello, King Speech. I tuned in for a minute. I don't know how you guys do it. I'm sorry. That shit's not for me. I don't know how you just keep going back and forth with these clowns. I'm sorry. That's not my thing.
Yeah,
I heard them.
Listen, I told these guys. Man, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I think we have a delay. No, there's a delay, so I cut you off. I'm just going to shut up. Go ahead.
Is it my end? Is my connection jacked up? I always got a bad connection.
I have no clue. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the only thing that I tell a lot of these guys sometimes is, what I was alluding to the other day, man, having these people and interacting with some of these other channels, man, I just can't do it with some of these guys, man. Like I said, even the debating stuff, like you can't debate lies and narratives. You can't debate these kinds of people. Trying to have these kinds of conversations, man, with some of these LeBron James fans, man, you just can't do it. Like I said, you're dumber listening to things that they have to say. You can't debate this stuff because you're not debating facts. You're not debating reality.
I'll say this took me 2 seconds to debunk. I did hear when King Speech challenged them, like, if LeBron is such a great facilitator and he makes his teammates better, why has everyone gotten worse in the history? And we're talking about going on 23 years of chances. And of course they, came out with the closest to not getting worse in people who still had some relative success in Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. Guess what?
Yep.
Anthony Davis's numbers were better with the Pelicans. You fucking clowns. Yeah. How hard was that to debunk?
You guys, man, so true.
Do you LeBron fans do any research before you just start spewing what you heard Nick Wright or Draymond Green say? Anyway.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right, though, man. Like you say, they're coming up here, and I don't know, man. It's just weird stuff. Like I said, I don't understand how people. I often say this. The reason why I appreciate a lot of the people that are coming to our chats, the people that come to our lives, the people that support our videos. You're attracting like-minded people, but not only that, you're attracting people who's genuinely that care about the game of basketball. And we're talking about holding the standard. This has never been about hating and tearing down the game of basketball. That's what they try to flip it as. Oh, you guys are just tearing the game down. You guys are just haters, blah, blah, blah. You're old heads, blah, blah, blah. You're living in the past. No, what we're talking about is how the level and the standards have been changed for these guys. But they're trying to sell us on the fact that these guys are bigger, stronger, faster, that they're more skilled than the guys that we grew up watching. And the guys that we were watching, the guys from back in the day, they didn't have any skills. That's not reality. That's not the facts. And that's not doing anything for the game. So what we're standing up for and what we're talking about is trying to keep the game standard, as the main focus here. We talk about how these guys are allowed to travel and carry now. These people today don't even seem to care about that. So then how are you going to sit there and talk about the game and tell us that we're hating on the game and we're tearing the game down? We're talking about the standard that should be being upheld.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. What you call hating is us debunking lies, and we have the evidence to show it. So if actual sports analysis, which of course you guys aren't accustomed to because you just have these clowns like Stephen A. Smith that go on and act like a WWE star. I can't remember the last time Stephen A. Smith actually broke down a play. Yep. This is what you guys want. You don't want us to actually show you what's happening on the basketball court. Right. And if you're going to call that hating, then I'm proud to be a hater. But I was listening to one of your I think it was your rant from this morning about some clowns whose comments blew up, like he's getting hated on his own channel because of the stupid things that he's saying. And I just started thinking, is this how content creators are rewarded now? Like, should I make something just absolutely absurd in order to bait people into blowing up the comment section? Yep. And is this the type of content that YouTube rewards? because the algorithm said that there's engagement.
Right. No, it's like when you put the video footage out, AOH, right? What you do, which is fantastic, and like I said, it really is part of the problem for a lot of these guys. The LeBron James fan, they like to cherry pick their videos, right? Cherry pick the highlights or cherry pick the low lights of Michael Jordan. But what you do is you're giving actual footage, the entire game. You're giving plays in entirety. We're not cherry picking one little piece here and there. You're breaking down entire quarters, entire games. And what we're talking about is the inconsistency of LeBron James, which can't be denied in the video footage. So what do you get in the video footage? You get one play LeBron James that looks like he might be giving some effort, and then you get that followed up by 3 or 4 plays consecutively of LeBron James not making rotations, LeBron James not keeping his head in the swivel, not watching his man, not playing any kind of help or team defense, LeBron James not making the cross half court, LeBron James making terrible decisions with the basketball, and the announcers and everyone else acting as if, oh, it's his teammates' fault, or oh, that was a great play by the defense, when in fact it was a stupid play by LeBron James, not a great play by the defense. So, we talk about the film and what people are putting out there. Like I said, this is part of the problem for a lot of these guys. They cherry pick a little bit of snippet here and there, snippet there.
A question before I forget, because I asked this in my most recent game breakdown. This is real. This is a real question. If somebody turns the ball over at the offensive end and it turns into a fast break for the other team, and you don't get back on defense, so there's not a chance in hell that you're going to be seen as getting scored on, does that person get the blame for the points that the other team gets or not?
Man, wait, man.
The rest of it, because it's not simple. This is not a trap. This is not a clear cut. It's clearly LeBron James's fault, because there are still 4 other guys that have the potential of stopping it. But when do you look at when the play broke down to where this became an issue in the first place? No, and when you don't even bother to get back, and therefore, the clown announcers are going to do exactly what the media wants and be like, oh man, the defense has to do a better job. The guys that you can see on the screen, not the guy that stayed out of the scene entirely.
Yeah, AOH, the point that you're making here is fantastic right now, because you're making the correlation here between the kinds of turnovers that LeBron James gets during his career and throughout some of these games, and how they're backbreaking at times. Because not only are they coming at critical moments or coming during momentum swings, you're talking about how they're transitioning into quick and easy baskets for the other team, because LeBron James is just simply not hustling back. So I want people to think about Karl Malone, for example, right? They'll be like, oh, Karl Malone was the leader in turnovers before LeBron James. And we've mentioned Karl Malone in the past, and we've talked about the turnovers. But we've mentioned, why was Karl Malone getting these kinds or this many turnovers when he's not really a ball handler? And what do we attribute it to? What do we think about? If we think about Karl Malone's game and how he played the game, how did he play? Very aggressive, right? Karl Malone was known as a powerful player, a guy who's going to bang down low. So what ends up happening is Karl Malone, a lot of his, turnovers were offensive fouls from back in them days. And why was this? Because when Karl Malone played the game, they actually called these things. They officiated the game that way. So a lot of Karl Malone's turnovers could be attributed to him offensive fouling guys, because he's using his power, he's using his elbow. We've seen a lot of plays from Karl Malone swinging that elbow around out there, right? You're going to get some offensive fouls. But also Karl Malone getting called for travels down there, right? You misstep, you mishandle the ball, you get called for a travel, because they're calling these things. Now, Karl Malone would probably have 1,000 less turnovers if he played in these era, because they're not going to be calling those little shuffles of the feet like they called against Karl Malone down the post back in them days, and they're not going to call the offensive fouls as frequently. He's just going to get called for a foul during these times, and he's going to go to the free throw line even more than he did back then.
And let's be clear, this is one that's questionable. The number of times that the other team scores without any debate as a result of LeBron James's failed defense is staggering. And then you have to add on to that the turnovers on the offensive end. I would just be deflated. I would be empty inside as his teammate. And the more I go back and break down these games, I'm like, how have people kept their mouths shut all these years? When Kevin Love and Iman Shumpert have to go running out to try and guard Durant because LeBron James is like walking toward the sideline. I don't I don't even know. I don't understand. He switched for no reason and then doesn't guard anyone. How do you switch in order to guard no one? Like at least go and switch on to a player that didn't need you to guard him, but like you walk toward the sideline.
I'm telling you, man, the video footage is it's so atrocious. It's so bad for someone that they celebrate, in some of these ways, man. It doesn't add up.
Gun Damu. Thank you for educating me about the era I never get to watch and calling out these clowns for not upholding the standard. Yeah. And thank you. Thank you for the super.
For real. Shout out to Gundam U for coming through. And this is what we're talking about. Like I said, trying to give you guys some perspective, from some of the other past eras. And I tell a lot of people all the time, man, to try to listen to people that know more than you, people, that you consider to be up and educated on these facts. Like I said, a lot of people can tell when Nick Wright is speaking, when a lot of these guys are talking about some of these eras, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, it doesn't add up.
It does not. It does not. I was thinking about the number of screenshots I could put up of LeBron's team playing 4-on-5. It's staggering. Like if I were a betting man and you told me without me looking, hey, the Lakers are playing 4-on-5, who's missing?
Yep.
I can't guarantee you that it's LeBron James, but if you're going to put a wager on it, yeah, my money is that it's LeBron James who's missing.
I mean, we talk about it all the time on here as far as the aspects of playing defense, right? And we talk about being an on-ball defender. We talk about being a help defender. We talk about team defense. And I've told people in the past that, like, when we're talking about, like, help defense, we talk about the videos of LeBron James when he's standing there and the man will drive right by him and he won't help his defender out. He will not help his teammate out by maybe sliding his feet over, right? Or maybe putting a hand out. Any of this kind, he'll just literally stand there with his hands on his hips and watch a guy drive right by him. So that's what a lot of times we're alluding to when we say LeBron James is not playing any help defense. When we talk about team defense, him not making it across half court, how is that helping your team defense? Doesn't help your team defense because, like you said, now you're playing 4-on-5. So that's not good team defense. Is that what your strategy was coming into the game? Is that what your game plan was? Is that what the coach is going over before the game? Hey, LeBron, man, I want you to try to stay across on the other side of the court so we can play 4-on-5. That's going to be our strategy so we can cherry pick about 6 or 8 easy points out there on the court. It's insane, man, when we watch this man do on a consistent basis out on the defensive end.
Thank you, Gundam, for another super chat. Kevin McLean has an interesting comment. Karl Malone, 1,697 turnovers. 262 of them were offensive fouls. Last 8 seasons, they didn't even have a statistic for offensive foul before that.
So think about that. They didn't even keep it, and he had 260 of them were offensive fouls.
Yeah, and now we think about how many offensive fouls LeBron James commits without being called for, and how many turnovers he would have if he was held to the same criteria that Karl Malone was apparently being called for offensive fouls. And don't get me wrong.
The only reason I brought Karl Malone, I'm sorry, go ahead, AOH.
I'm not saying Karl Malone didn't commit offensive fouls, but if you think that LeBron James isn't, I don't know. I invite you to go play defense against him.
Right. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, the only reason I brought up Karl Malone is because he was the guy that was in the, had the number one amount of turnovers. And he's not known as a quote unquote skilled player like that. He's not known as a ball handler or a playmaker, a passer. He's not known as any of those things. So for him to have that many turnovers, people would say, how can he have so many turnovers? And I was trying to highlight this is a reason, or one of the reasons why that could be. And like I said, just the overall effect that they officiate the game. Like you just mentioned, AOH, how many turnovers or more would he have if they called the travels and the carries, not even just the offensive fouls? this man would have about 1,000 more turnovers, if not even more, between just those three aspects that they've completely changed as far as NBA. And then extrapolate the assists that he gets now, like you highlight in your videos also, where he can make a pass to a player. That player can make 3 or 4 moves, take 4 or 5 dribbles, and he'll still get credit for an assist. So think about all the assists he gets that maybe John Stockton didn't get, that Magic Johnson, Bob Cousy damn sure wasn't getting assists that easy. So, I mean, my goodness.
Top Dog asks with a super chat if we're going to be taking calls. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, sometimes we ramble too much, guys. You know that. Well, I do. Not we. My bad. Not AOH. I do.
We both ramble. I mean, I already cut out the general angry old rants section because I've got shit to talk about, just shitting on the human race again. And I know you do too. I've already omitted that for the sake of time.
Well, like you said, we start talking about all kinds of random stuff, and then next thing you know, we've gone off about an hour, and we didn't even talk about sports.
Hey, well, that's
shout out to Aunt Jemima syrup. I'm calling it Aunt Jemima. Damn it, I don't give a damn.
Read Carrie Patterson with a generous super.
Yeah, shout out to Carrie Patterson for coming through. Thank you very much, true supporters. To surpass MJ, LBJ copied number 23, the Chalk Toss, Space Jam, the Nike deal, not 1, not 2. Talk to erase Kobe. LBJ copied Taking My Talents. Talk, right? He did. LA move, the multi-jersey numbers, right, in LA. That's also true. The China tour, the storytelling. That's right. I did a video about the storytelling. The statue in LA that he's trying to get now. Absolutely. You're right on the money.
Yeah, let's talk about the statue. Thank you, Carrie, again.
Yep.
And Byron Scott was like, no. And it's like, he got a fake ring. Let's just call it a real ring. Like, does everybody who ever gets a ring get a statue? Is it just by default? And here's the other thing. When you put out a question like that, should LeBron get a ring here or there? It puts into people's heads, oh, wow, he might deserve a ring there. It also omits people who might be more responsible for that ring. I will go to my grave saying Anthony Davis was crucially better than LeBron James in 2020.
Yep.
That team was loaded. LeBron James, anyone could have replaced what he did on that team. So let's make the argument that Anthony Davis gets a statue in LA. Let's make the argument that Kyrie Irving gets the statue in Cleveland. I mean, it took Kyrie less time and it cost the Cavs less money. It took Anthony Davis less time. I mean, LeBron's been in LA longer than Anthony Davis at this point. Yep. I've been here forever, and eventually we sort of kind of won something that doesn't really count. Give me a statue.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that, AOH, is the problem with the statue and, what Byron Scott is alluding to, and I think what a lot of people understand, especially the Laker fans. I'm talking about, like, real Laker fans. I'm not talking about LeBron James fans. I'm talking about actual Los Angeles Lakers fans, man. However you became a Los Angeles Lakers fan, if you are a true fan of the Lakers, man, then you understand that it's not only because LeBron James, hasn't really, done much for LA, let's say, but it's also because it's the Lakers. Their franchise is historic in a way that a lot of other franchises are not. The players that have played for their franchise, the amount of championships that they've won, it makes it so that you have to do something more to be remembered from them. In my opinion, that's how I view the Lakers. If I was a professional athlete and I played for the Lakers, in my mind, I would understand. In order for me to be remembered, I have to outdo guys like George Mikan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Jerry West and Magic Johnson and Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor. I mean, my goodness, some of the greatest players, in the history of the game. So when you talk about the franchise itself, the players that played there, as many championships they won, LeBron James ain't on that level, man, as far as the rich tradition that is the Los Angeles Lakers, man.
Steam Engine, does he actually have a statue there? I know he has a giant mural of himself, but does he actually have a statue too? And the mural? And his sneaker room where he puts on his suit to intellectually talk about his sneakers? Telling kids the important maybe the prioritization of sneakers in that school is why the school is
He has
doing
a
so
statue in
bad
there?
academically. I don't know. It's what I'm asking Speam, if he's exaggerating or if that's true. I mean, it's very possible. Go ahead and read Praise the Dawn if you want to.
Absolutely. The entitled PED junkie doesn't deserve a statue unless it's for the bundle of sticks community. He's done nothing for the NBA.
And,
Yo, shout out to Praise the Dawn again.
And we've got Gary. What's up, my guys? AOH and SNFR. Keep the content coming. You are doing God's work. I have two questions. What do you guys think is the greatest single game and single season achievement in NBA history? Oh, boy. Wow. You got an answer? I don't have one off the top of my head.
I mean, see, man, yo, shout out to Gary, man, but you be asking that. That's a hard question to answer, man. I mean, just thinking about it, a single season achievement. I'll be honest, guys. When I think about single season achievement, I think about Bill Russell, man. I'm not gonna lie, because the man was literally coaching the team while being a player, winning multiple championships while coaching the Celtics. And like I said, you think about the time that he's doing this. It's really to me. I mean, the man. I don't even think he. I think in 68, he played every single minute of every game. I can't remember if it was 68, 69. And remember, in 69, they were losing 2-0 to the Los Angeles Lakers in that finals. So to me, I think Bill Russell being the coach and winning the championship, playing all those minutes in his final year, man, going against Will Chamberlain and Jerry West, man. I mean, my God. And Elgin Baylor. I mean, come on, man. That's insane. Great achievement.
I think I automatically omit eras before I watched any of the games, but that doesn't mean that I'm correct in doing so. That's just how I think. But that sounds like a pretty good argument to me. And then after that, I'd probably go with any of those seasons. That Jordan's trainer talks about, where Jordan's the only person in history that accomplished the numbers that he did, and he did it 4 times. Praise the Dawn says no real Lakers fan wanted LeBron on the team. And Sports and Fitness Rants is on a pee-pee break or something. I don't know.
I think my signal should be getting better now, man. My thing wasn't plugged in right.
Oh, yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys in the chat, man. I saw some of you guys talking about my signal might have been a little jacked up, man. Hopefully this clears it up for you guys.
Oh, I hate to spend more time on the disgusting antics of today's players trying to improve someone's image by shitting on other people. But I started thinking, like, what if Jordan started doing this? What if Jordan started going on these podcasts and being like, oh, what I could have done if I hadn't had players like so-and-so and so-and-so. I mean, I would turn on him. Like, we'd be so disappointed in that behavior. Like, thank God. Has he ever done that?
What?
Shit on his teammates in order to try and like lift his legacy.
No, I mean, absolutely not.
I mean, that's how an adult behaves, guys. That's how a man behaves. You don't go shit on your ex teammates because you're insecure of your own lack of accomplishments. Even if your teammates sucked, even if your teammates really did suck, that's just not what you do. I mean, and after the Last Dance came out, they had the nerve to be like, "Oh, why didn't Luke Longley get featured more?" Really?
That's insane.
And
right.
You know what? And you know what Jordan said? Oh, yeah. I mean, Luke was important, and I would I'd be happy to. And he did. He participated in like a mini story that featured Luke Longley. Well, why don't we do it for everyone who's ever been on the fucking Bulls ever and averaged 4 fucking points a game?
No, you're absolutely right, AOH, man. I love what you're saying right now because it's really weird, how, like you said, how they tried to flip it into all of a sudden, oh man, they should have mentioned these guys more. This guy wasn't featured enough or something like. It doesn't make any sense. The only thing that I ever said as far as how they feature certain people is, to me, I always said that they were featuring Steve Cook being mentioned and being painted in a picture that he was more important than guys like Ron Harper, or some of these other guys. Man, to me, it wasn't true.
Mastodon asks an interesting question. I've never felt right with Scotty turning on MJ like he did. Then I realized Clutch picked up Pippen Jr. after his dad's book came out. You guys think Clutch got to Scotty? I look back at Scotty's behavior over his career and I realize Scotty was always closer to a LeBron than a Jordan. And if Scotty hadn't had Jordan's leadership, you wouldn't know who Scottie Pippen is to this day. Talented or not talented, potential or no potential. I mean, pretty much everybody falls into the category of the potential. There's certain things that have to happen in order for you to become more than just potential.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, AOH. Like I said, a lot of this stuff that you talk about in this comment, shout out to Mastodon Knots for coming through. That was a problem we had with Scottie Pippen. People, a lot of people, I hate it when people would come to me in my chatting, in my comments and say, oh, you're hating on Scottie Pippen and, you're trashing Scottie Pippen to make Michael Jordan look good. It was never about that. What Scottie Pippen was saying, guys, was flat out lies. He was literally trying to rewrite history. He was one of the main guys that we were talking about, making up stories and making up scenarios. Because the one thing that we know for certain is that Michael Jordan always gave his teammates their just due. That's what I'm most confused about. Scottie Pippen's trying to make it seem as if he didn't get his just due. Somehow he was getting robbed playing with Michael Jordan. I remember when he said, hey, I didn't win Defensive Player of the Year award because they were too busy watching Michael Jordan. As if he's trying to imply as if he would have gotten better and more attention not playing with Michael Jordan. How does that work, Scottie Pippen, when you're on national television all of the time because you play with Michael Jordan?
Scotty kind of gave us evidence that what he was doing was largely about money, book selling and, other things to like get his name back out there and promote a book. And if you're willing to do things like that for money, then why wouldn't you be willing to take a paycheck from Clutch Sports? So I'd say the evidence is there to believe it. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be surprised. I also wonder if Scotty didn't just hear people talking in his ear all those years, and he kind of left the game with some regrets, similar to Shaq. They didn't leave it all on the floor. And over time, maybe that ate at their insides and they started re-envisioning what their history was. They're like, well, I was better than I was and I could have done all of this if that, and the other thing, and people aren't remembering me correctly. He may actually envision it. I tell people all the time. He may actually envision his career differently, delusionally.
Yeah, I mean, I say all the time, Scottie Pippen was actually remembered for being greater than he actually was. Because he played with Michael Jordan, they had the success they had together. The Bulls were a dynasty. Come on, we get this stuff. Like, he was actually being remembered for being greater. So people are like, oh, you're tearing down Scottie. No, I'm telling you the truth about Scottie Pippen now. The way that you guys are trying to talk about Scottie Pippen, the way he's being remembered is being greater. And like we always mention, LeBron James teammates are being remembered for being way worse than they actually were.
Yep. So Sports and Fitness Rants requested that we watch a particular play. So I'm going to let him tell everyone why he wanted this play. And it's from my video that went public this morning.
Yes, once again, Absolutely. Shout out to my man AOH, the czar of the video footage. I tell you guys all the time, I don't call this man the czar, just because I want to be funny and I think I'm cool and I want to give my man a cool nickname. This dude is literally giving you guys the facts here. He's giving you the video footage. So in this video, we have the 2017 NBA Finals. This is game 1. This is quarter number 2. And my man AOH is highlighting a particular play that I wanted to talk about because it really encapsulates a lot of things that we talk about with LeBron James when we talk about the word effort on the basketball court. Remember, this is the NBA Finals, ladies and gentlemen, all right? It's the second quarter, right? You're closing out the quarter. You're closing out the half, essentially. And here goes LeBron James. I want you guys to watch the effort from LeBron James in this play.
Another miss by Durant.
Now, pause it right there, AOH. Now, I want everybody to understand, when I talk about effort and I talk about consistency and I talk about moments on the basketball court, and people are trying to argue that LeBron James is the greatest all-around basketball player of all time, that people are telling me that LeBron James is an elite, a quote-unquote elite rebounder, and that LeBron James is 6'9", 260. He could play in all these other great eras that had legit rebounders, legit guys down low that are battling for rebounds. This moment, that photo right there, guys, is why LeBron James averages 7 rebounds per game for his career, and his offensive rebounding numbers are pathetic at best, guys. That moment right there that you're looking at on the screen, LeBron James is out there being out-hustled, out-rebounded by Steph Curry. Steph Curry, guys. And once again, shout out to Steph Curry for going out to the NBA Finals and giving some damn effort. LeBron James is boxing out, actually, Andre Iguodala. And instead of actually giving the effort, what does he do? He sits back like LeBron James typically does and thinks he's going to get an easy rebound falling into his lap. And this is the result you have, a second shot opportunity, which results in, once again, a basket for the Golden State Warriors.
He was in perfect rebounding position. He's 6'9". He's praised for his leaping ability. How does this happen?
How?
You'd be on the bench. Your coach would bench you for this.
Exactly. The lack of effort, astounding. I mean, and look, that was a second effort rebound from Steph Curry.
Yes, it was.
Second effort rebound. Insane. And that's what you get, guys. That's what that resulted in an NBA Finals before the half. You're trying to make a run. You're trying to close out the half on a high. Best player of his era standing there flat-footed while Steph Curry out-rebounds him. Look at LeBron James' feet right there. Flat-footed rebound. He's waiting for the ball to come to him. Anyone that knows the game of basketball, because apparently I don't know the game and I'm not breaking down the goddamn thing out here. What do you guys know about rebound the basketball? Once again, you go and get the ball. You don't wait for the ball to fall to you. I mean, this is insane. This is elementary stuff. What are we doing here, LeBron James? You're waiting for the ball to land, and Steph Curry said, no, I'm going to get the ball.
You know what? It also makes me think about NFL football players now who wait for the ball to come to them. I was a receiver, and we were coached, you get the ball at its highest point. You use your hands. You don't wait for the ball. You don't wait. You don't catch. You don't bread basket it. You don't let it bounce off your chest. You go and you beat the defender and you get the ball. You don't sit there and wait for the ball to come to you. Otherwise, that's when an interception happens, or you fumble it off of your chest, or in this case, a 6'2" guy out rebounds a 6'9" guy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that we're not going to do calls today just because of the connection problems. I think it would probably be a disaster. I'll see if Robin agrees when he comes back.
What? Yeah, but listen, I really want people to understand. Does anybody out there, I hope you guys can hear me good, man, and really, I'm not breaking up. But does anyone think that what me and AOH are highlighting right here, the clip I wanted him to show, that I asked him to show right now, Does this seem like I'm hating on LeBron James? That I'm making video, or I'm just cherry picking a play here, there? This is not a cherry pick. What I'm telling you guys is about a moment here. There's a moment in the game, and I didn't just show the rebound. What we're talking about is the follow-up to that rebound. And what we're showing you is, I'm saying, this is at the end of the first half. There's a minute and 24 seconds to go in the first half of the NBA freaking finals. It's game 1. I'm not cherry picking game 47 of the regular season. This is game 1 of the NBA finals. I mean, I don't know what else I can tell you when we're talking about the lack of effort in that moment. And like I said, if you look at Steph Curry in that play, I'm not saying Steph Curry's the greatest rebounder of all time, and Steph Curry is a greater rebounder or the greatest rebounding guard in the history of the game. What I'm showing you is that Steph Curry out-rebounding LeBron James in a moment of a game where they love to talk about how great LeBron James is in rebounding because he has, over 10,000 rebounds. So that means he's a good rebounder. He's not a good rebounder, LeBron James. He's a mediocre rebounder, and the effort that he gives has never been consistent, guys. Once again, me and AOH talking before we came live, and said we have to let the people understand. The video footage I'm showing you here is from 2017, guys. It's a long time ago, man. Years ago. And this man's been doing this crap for years.
This isn't the only one, by the way. I have specific memories of Curry out-rebounding LeBron multiple times. And, there's a reason that my quarter breakdowns are over 30 minutes, because this is certainly not the only thing that I found. Cherry picking. I mean, if you guys want to call clicking play and watching LeBron James game film, any game you hand to me, cherry picking, then okay.
Exactly. Like I said, man, it's not a cherry pick. That's not what we have to do here. I tell you, I don't need to I didn't make LeBron James go to China and miss 11 straight shots out there. I didn't make him. He did that on his own. No one had to help LeBron James look like a fool. He's going to keep playing. He's going to keep looking like an idiot.
Here's how bad it is. Not only do I not cherry pick, I've reached the point that I don't even include traveling anymore. It's just expected. I don't expect a legal play.
Right. Exactly. This is the lack of consistency, guys. And like AOH is mentioning, there's many other guys, please go watch his video. He's done the first quarter already. This is the second quarter. This is just the first freaking half, man. My God, you could have probably a 2-hour show worth just off of the first quarter of LeBron James and the defensive lapses. And one of the great things that I love that you did in this newest video is that you exposed, some of these other channels like Thinking Basketball and how they promote LeBron James's high IQ still. I think we have to get past this high IQ stuff, guys. What we're seeing from LeBron James is a lot of dumb basketball, guys. Dumb basketball being disguised as, that's probably their game plan. They're switching everything. I don't want to hear that nonsense when you're standing in no man's land. That's not how you play defense on help defense, or that's your game plan for you to stand there like a fool.
Yep. Gundam says we should rant about the NFL. We've been starting to a little bit. We're starting
I know, man. I want to also. It's so hard. I really wish that this was like my job. That I could do this. And I just had a lot of time in the day to do a bunch of different topics and so many things. And the NFL is interesting, but it's not as interesting as some of the crap that we hear going on in the NBA. And I would love to talk about football. And like I said, we've touched on some of this football stuff because the NFL season to me, like I said, when you're talking about you're only like three weeks into the season, man, it's been interesting already. I mean, my team, the Giants, hell, they're done. The Giants are done. The Giants been done since week 1, in my opinion. They still have the same problems. They can't score in the red zone. They're one of the worst red zone teams over the last couple of seasons, man. Once again, you talk about inconsistency to the New York Giants. They couldn't even break 10 points last week. The week before, they cracked 30. You don't know what you get from the New York Giants.
Yeah, sorry. That can't be fun.
2 division losses already. This season's a wrap. The Packers were looking like they were unbeatable, and then they lost last week to the Cleveland Browns, who looked like they couldn't win a game, and then the Cleveland Browns win. That's the cool thing and the interesting thing about football, man. Is like you never really know. But the thing about football also that we talked about is how a couple of games like I said, for the Giants, 2 division losses, their season's pretty much done, man. It's a wrap. They're bringing the rookie now to start. So they pretty much thrown in the towel, and they're thinking about next season.
I'll say I'm pretty happy that the Niners got rid of Moody, that kicker. It took them long enough. My God. I mean, Mike Lowry, as a Commanders fan, I absolutely agree. Yeah. Oh, I put a link to my most recent upload. We'll see if I can get some views this time. But if anyone actually wants to see play-by-play breakdowns. Oh, I wanted you to talk about Van Gundy.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I wanted to mention Jeff Van Gundy also. I mean, listen, shout out to Jeff Van Gundy, all right? First off, because Jeff Van Gundy coached the New York Knicks for several seasons. They were a very good team under Jeff Van Gundy. He came in after the Pat Riley era of New York Knicks. So shout out to Jeff Van Gundy. To me, he's a quality head coach, man. Really good head coach. We talked. I mentioned Jeff. I just mentioned Jeff Van Gundy recently because of the Tracy McGrady stuff. I remember hearing some comments from Jeff Van Gundy about Tracy McGrady and his lack of work ethic and his lack of really want to really work on his overall game and really work in practice, like, you know. So I thought it was very interesting, some old comments that had surfaced about, you know, Tracy McGrady and his lack of effort, even though Tracy McGrady is trying to put himself in the same level as Kobe Bryant all of a sudden now. I thought that was very funny. But Jeff Van Gundy, when I listened to him during this breakdown that you've been giving of the 2017 NBA Finals, my goodness, man, my goodness. I mean, like you said, it's almost as if they're trying to do broadcasting. And Mark Jackson, absolutely. You're around the money. Like, what they're talking about on the broadcast booths doesn't always fall in line to what you watch. And that's what I say it doesn't make sense sometimes. They'll, you know, LeBron James, like I said earlier, LeBron James will cause a turnover and they'll make it seem as if the defense made a great play, when in fact it was a bad throw. I remember a play in particular. LeBron James came down the lane, made a move on Draymond Green. He goes into the lane, the defense comes over. LeBron James throws a bad pass to the corner of the basketball court. Klay Thompson is standing there. He does nothing crazy.
It hits Klay in the face practically. He's got to put his hands up.
Exactly.
Good job, Klay. Way to protect your face from LeBron's pass.
Exactly. And they'll say, hey, man, that was a great play by Klay Thompson right there. Makes a steal. No, that was a bad throw by LeBron James, Jeff.
And then they follow that up by speaking in the abstract about how many turnovers the Cavaliers have. Oh, boy, we lost Robin entirely. Here he is. Who's unplugging your modem? The AOL 9.0 CD. God.
Check.
Speam, was that one of the first? I remember Snoop Dogg being associated with that AOL, sending out those CDs in like the early 2000s or whenever the hell that was. It's an interesting time. Hey, yeah, I didn't like the double standard of these are two guys that like to talk tough. They like to talk tough and say that they criticize the referees for not allowing defense and not allowing physicality. And here they were in this 2017 finals saying the league doesn't want players to play in the post because look at all the physicality they're letting the Warriors get away with against LeBron James. And I broke it down and showed that there wasn't even a foul committed on LeBron James. It was LeBron James with his unskilled bulldozing. I don't even know if you can really call that a post-up move. He just starts at the top and tries to run people over. And it just struck me as a desperate attempt to bail LeBron James out.
Yeah, and that play that you're talking about in particular, the one with Andre Iguodala, where he literally barrels over Andre Iguodala, and they call the foul on Andre Iguodala, and Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson talks about, Andre Iguodala slapping him on his arm. Oh, that's contact. You have to call that. And like you said, that came, after seconds of LeBron James barreling into Andre Iguodala, just trying to use all of his might and force, his weight, because he doesn't have a quote-unquote bag or any kind of post-up game. This is what we're alluding to. That's not going to fly in the 80s and the 90s. You're not just going to be able to try to just bang and use your brute force against those guys. It's not going to work. You're going to get called for that travel. You're going to get called for that offensive foul. The guys are going to be more stout down low. They're going to welcome this kind of stuff. It's insane for LeBron James fans to talk about Michael Jordan was guarded by short guys or guys that were smaller than him, as if Michael Jordan was some hulking guy. They celebrate LeBron James' size, and then you see him being guarded by Andre Iguodala, who's obviously smaller than LeBron James, and LeBron James is trying to use his size on Andre Iguodala, but can't because he has no footwork, he has no skill, he has no go-to move there. And it's like I said, they're going to talk about the physicality of the game.
It's a interesting detail for me to grab from it, but I couldn't help but notice that LeBron James's stance is so wide. It looks like he's going to go into the splits. And it's just like, what kind of a skilled move is that? It's just like full-blown battering ram shit. And if you don't run into something, you're going to fall down. Like the entire play is based upon ramming whatever's in front of you. And then you regain your balance. I mean, honestly, his foot stance was insane. Play after play after play of attempting to ram himself forward into the defender like a weapon.
You said it perfectly right there. You said to regain your balance. That was perfectly said because that's what he's doing. And now that's what he's allowed to do. I tell people a lot of times when you watch LeBron James play, sometimes these people think we're just talking like we've never watched this guy. I watched this dude play basketball. I've seen what he does out there in the court. I'm not making this up in thin air. When you watch LeBron James come down the court and do what he does, oftentimes he needs that extra step to, once again, like you just said, get his balance, to stabilize himself, get his footing back. Because he's out there throwing himself off balance by initiating contact where oftentimes guys are falling back or they're trying to get away from the contact, and then he needs that extra step. When you watch LeBron James pre-2010-ish, 2009, when he was really still coming up, that 2006, 2007 time, look at his game in the 2007 finals. Look what he's trying to do in those finals, and then look what he does in 2017 finals. He's allowed to get away with those things in 2017. He doesn't get away with that stuff a lot of times in 2007. He'll get away with none of that.
Thanks, Real Siberius, for gifting a membership. I might encourage people to move away from that. I might be moving over to Patreon, and if you want to support me there, because I think my days are numbered on YouTube. It's just the writing's kind of on the wall. It's not that I'm voluntarily leaving. I'm getting pushed out.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are on the Patreon. A lot of guys are on both platforms. And like you said, you have almost like a safety net, something else, another platform to fall back on that's not as restrictive. That's why, I don't really get into too much weird stuff, out here on YouTube because, like I said, it's not really worth it because, like I said, they try to hold you down. But it's really weird. I relate a lot of times to taxes. You ever notice how they'll come after you if you owe like $500, you owe a couple of $1,000 to the taxes, they'll come after your ass. They'll send you all these weird letters. They'll talk about garnishing your wages, all this weird contact your employers. But you got these millionaires out here that owe millions and millions of dollars to the tax people. They've been evading this stuff for years and years and years. We just write it off. Let me write it off. They're writing everything off. They're doing all this shady stuff. Ain't no one going after them though. But you're coming after me, a guy who lives check to check, because I owe you $1,000 or something. You're gonna garnish my little bit of money. It's weird stuff that we talk about out here, man. That's how they come out here sometimes with some of this YouTube stuff. Some people's videos are crazy as hell. They can say crazy stuff, whatever they want. Someone else does something, all of a sudden they shut you down.
Yep. I'm just going to leave it alone, or I won't stop.
Yo, there's some crazy videos on YouTube, man. People fighting, people doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But like I said, all of a sudden you make a joke about something. All of a sudden, next thing you know, man, they're gonna be trying to come after you. I told you I was demonetized last year because of Shaq to the Fool. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, demonetized? Like I'm doing something wrong. I'm hurting somebody. I'm the problem on YouTube, man. Come on, man. It's insane.
McZuggins with a super chat says, when someone got 1-on-1 MJ, it got hyped. But when it's on LeBron, they never mention him. Just happens magically versus no one since 2010. Neat. Oh, yeah.
No, for real, exactly. That's what we're talking about. You know what's funny? I remember one time talking about Allen Iverson, and we were talking about the comments that LeBron James had made last year, and he was talking about the iconic moments and how like Allen Iverson and Steph Curry were some of like the most iconic players, and you know we were laughing because he didn't mention Michael Jordan, and I mentioned how Allen Iverson, one of his iconic moments, is only iconic because he did it against Michael Jordan. So when we talk about his crossover, the reason why the crossover was so iconic with Allen Iverson is because it was against Michael Jordan. That was iconic because Michael Jordan was obviously Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan was also known as a great defensive player.
If you want to take a call, I'll let you take it, but I got a lot of editing to do. I might call it clean at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that sounds
Unless
good.
you want to take a call.
My connection is struggling today. I don't know why. It's really weird because I normally have been on a roll here with my connection. But yeah, man, there's no way that I could do a call or anything like that because, like I said, I don't even know if I could have a constant connection right now.
All right, fair enough.
I'm glad that we were able to get the hour, man, because like I said, to me, this was great. Just being on here on a Wednesday that I wasn't expecting to do. And like I said, shout out to everybody that actually came through, man. A lot of you guys came through again, man. You know, I love doing the Wednesday shows, man. Like I said, it's a good time on Wednesday, I feel like. But unfortunately, my regular typical schedule just doesn't allow me to do the Wednesday shows, at this time. So like I said, it was just great doing this show, when I wasn't expecting to do it, man. Once again, AOH, thank you, man.
Hey, thanks for reaching out. He had the opening, so we did it. And thank you guys for showing up. I know a lot of you like the Wednesday show and like to listen from work. But we do what we can when we can. All right, man. I'll catch you.
Yeah, you guys be good, man. Catch you on the next one.